letter that President Juncker wrote to the Ombudsman, he writes that the former president should be treated as an interest representative, and the same rules should apply as for any interest representative as regards the transparency register, etc. Over the last year, there have been a number of meetings between President Juncker and former prime ministers and former officials, when we've asked questions about that in this room, we've always been told that President Juncker was Prime Minister of Luxembourg, he knew all these people, he had a relationship with them. But I'm wondering, should the same rules apply to these meetings as apply to the meeting with President Barroso? So, for example, take Tony Blair, for example. This is somebody who's got business interest, charitable interest. Should that person also be treated as an interest representative, and should they also be listed in the transparency register before they meet with the president? Thank you.
Look, I think there's a clear difference between former heads of state who may have one interest or the other, and in this case, former President Barroso, who has a work contract with Goldman Sachs. One of the areas of work is advising clients on issues relating to European affairs. So I think it is good sense to treat somebody with this work assignment as an interest representative, as indeed President Juncker has decided it should be treated. And by the way, this is something that we have discussed last week, and I have already told you that that President Barroso will be treated as an interest representative. That follows logically from our very strict rules and from the fact that he is working for this bank with this work assignment. Follow up.
I understand the distinction based on the fact that Barroso was obviously former president of the European Commission, but the reason why he has to present himself as an interest representative is because he's representing interests. Why should that not apply to any other person visiting the president? That's, for me, that's inconsistent to say that, say, somebody who's got business or charitable interests visiting the president shouldn't also declare those interests.
Look, if somebody comes to see the president to represent a very concrete business interest, then of course these rules apply. But the meetings that the president has with his former and current colleagues are not of that nature, which is also why we have always given you the reply that we have given you. These are meetings where the president, together with the head of state, former or current head of state who visits, discusses the pressing issues of the day in Europe and beyond. It is not to discuss concrete business scenarios or the representation of business interests.